Oh, no. Oh, I was too slow. My bad. I was come through, Clementine. Come through. Okay, grab it. Come on. Oh. Right. Fuck him out. Oh. Push. You got to push. Hey, you got to push. Hey.
What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for tuning in to 8 Connection TV. Subscribe, baby. Also, check out my 2 new channels, 8 Connection TV 2 and ACTV Games. When you go through those channels, subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell.
OMG, just bear me here is pretty good. Okay, so let's get into this particular episode. Although I have been quite upset for or about this particular season, and I still am actually. This episode was really good because it showed motion in the right direction. Okay, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Wesley. Follow me on 8 Connection TV. Let's get past all of that, right? I have over a thousand videos up on here, and I'm a Walking Dead fan. So this was really good. You know, the whole entire season has been dry. They killed Glenn, they killed Spencer, they killed Olivia, they killed Red Hair, they killed Benjamin, they killed everyone. Saviors have killed everyone, and we've not killed any of them. Well, I mean, we killed a ton of them but still, y'all know what I'm saying. We're killing like vital people that we're caring about, and no one that they particularly care about has died, and that needs to change. That really does. Like that chick that killed Olivia needs to die. The dude, what is his name? Duane needs to die. Like all of these jokes need to die. So we started this particular season off with, this episode off with Ezekiel having one fruit in the truck and just closing it, like eerily closing it. Like, is this another flashback to the present type of situation? Like always. Okay, so yeah, what are we doing here? And by the way, that particular opening was the fastest opening I've ever seen in Walking Dead history, at least that my mind can remember. So it piqued my interest. I'm like, what's going on? You see Morgan. Okay, explain. Carol is having nightmares and she can't really take it. So, we get the feeling, or not the feeling, but we realize that like Rick, Carol is not sleeping at all, or at least she's having multiple nightmares and she's crying in her sleep, and that's not good. Morgan is training a young boy, and it appears to be that it's Benjamin's brother. Or son, because Richard ends up saying he's too young to be a dad. I am confused with this particular situation. I know you guys will let me know. Will put me on game, because sometimes I forget about these things. But Morgan is training the little boy, and it's interesting because even in his life lessons of not wanting to kill, and if you injure someone, you only injure yourself bull crap. It's kind of like nice. It's settling to watch. You know what I'm saying? People are looking up to Morgan, and Morgan is making a difference here at the Kingdom. Carol leaves her house to go to the Kingdom in order to talk to Morgan. The way she killed those 5 zombies was kind of corny and funny at the same time, because all she had to do was walk up to them while they were not paying attention to her and stab them all in the back of the head real swift and real quick. But she kind of had a cracky way of killing off the zombies. Benjamin really wants to know more about Miss Carol, but Carol's like, no, leave me alone. Where's Morgan? Morgan is asked, what did Daryl really want to tell her? And if Daryl was telling the truth. Morgan then says that you didn't want me to let anybody know that you existed or where you were or what was going on, and I didn't. Daryl didn't find you because of me, so why am I going to tell you what was going on? You need to have that conversation with Daryl. But see, when people fail to realize is when you ask someone a question and they deflect like that, obviously it's the opposite response, period. So if you say, is someone lying about such and such and such, and then someone's like, oh, I think you should have that conversation with them, that means that they're lying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Morgan didn't say, I don't know what was said. I don't know what's happening in Alexandria. You need to talk to, Daryl. He's like, oh, you just need to have that conversation with Daryl. Sus, right there, sus. So, of course, of course, Carol, walks off or whatever the case may be. And then that's when Benjamin asks, can I watch you? Can I learn from you? Can I train with you? Carol says no flat out, and that, Benjamin just needs to go on his lookout. On the way to the kingdom, Carol crossed quite a few zombies before she made it to the gate, and she hits a zombie and knocks the zombie down and doesn't kill the zombie. On the way back from being told from Morgan to kiss his ass, pretty much, she walks up to the same zombie that she left in the road, and his face is slashed. Right away, she already knows that somebody's been there, and, unbeknownst to her, she's being watched. Who is she being watched by? None other than Richard, who puts together this crazy, kooky plan to sabotage a deal that, between the kingdom and the saviors. But before we get into that, Benjamin is giving Morgan art because he hints at a female in his life, and Morgan wants to know who he's talking about. Of course, we know who he's talking about, or whatever the case may be. Nabila tells King Ezekiel that the fruit and the crops are being destroyed by weevils, and that we need to take care of this before they make it to the main crops. And I'm like, this whole interaction between Nabila and Ezekiel in front of Shiva was just weird to me. That computer animation of Shiva was really piss poor. This particular go around, usually they're really, really good. Like that shit with the dare. The dare last weekend was just terrible. Like freaking atrocious. But whatever, I understand that, in order for them not to get in trouble with PETA, that we have to do a graphic design of a tiger. And quite honestly, I think it's cooler because the tiger gets to do different things. Or the tiger gets to beat to the drum of the director when the director's beating the freaking drum. So I'm here for the special effects. Just make them look cooler. So on their run, we find a barricade or a blockade of shopping carts. Just coincident. These shopping carts were obviously put there by Richard, who then ends up getting the whole entire crew late to the Savior's drop-off, switcheroo, or exchange. When they go to exchange, Gary gets knocked upside the head, and Benjamin calls that rat-faced prick a rat-faced prick. And, tensions are high. So, the little Negan dude goes to check the truck, and he realizes that they're missing cantaloupe or mango. It was a cantaloupe, whatever it was. I'm not a fruit eater, so whatever. Missing one of the fruits. They were supposed to have 12, and there were 11. Because of this, things go crazy, and little Negan tells them to give up their gun. They're hesitant because they immediately draw. And so Ezekiel says, I'll do you one favor. Because we're short on the cantaloupe, or the fruit, or whatever, cantaloupe, we can go ahead and get you an extra one in an hour if you're willing to wait. Little Negan's like, no, you don't make demands, I make demands. So either you're gonna do what I want you to do and give me your guns, or you're just gonna have to pay. And of course, they end up taking the latter anyway, because when Ezekiel gives up his guns to the saviors, little Negan says, well, I just needed to take your guns away because I know what's going to happen is going to make you emotional, and I know if you had guns, it would not be good. And so right away, we know someone's going to get shot. We know someone's going to get potentially killed, or whatever the case may be. And although we all want it to be Richard, it doesn't end up being Richard. It ends up being Benjamin. Benjamin gets shot in the leg, and it basically blows through one of his arteries. And it's one of those situations where there aren't doctors to cut it in and suture that shit up, so he bleeds to death. What was interesting about this whole thing, and not even interesting, but good in itself, was that although little Negan wanted to show them who's boss, he didn't want Benjamin to die. I really don't give a fuck because little Negan is still an aggravated, I just don't care about Negan, little Negan, I don't care about these people at all. Like what should have happened was that the guy that shot Benjamin should have been shot in their own sight. But whatever, they go rush Benjamin to the hospital, aka Carol's house, because it's the closest on the route. And, Benjamin ends up bleeding out and dying on the table. Morgan takes it to heart. He goes and walks the streets, and he starts having flashbacks of Duane and his wife, and, all the things that he used to do, his signs and everything when he was crazy. And he's losing his mind. And to a point where he goes and puts himself into the bury me here grave and almost slits his wrist. He decides not to do it, and he kicks over a box, and just so happens the fruit is there. He knows all of a sudden that Richard is the one that created this whole situation, so he approaches Richard. And sure enough, Richard admits to it. He talks about how he lost his wife, and then right after he lost his little girl, girl, which apparently her name is Carrie. And, you know, it was supposed to be him. But since it wasn't him, he's going to go against the Saviors, and he's going to be the leader for this army, and he's going to talk to Ezekiel and let Ezekiel know what he did, and this is what's going to happen, and this needs to happen, because not doing anything will get everyone killed. In this moment, it seems like Morgan wants to kill Richard, but he doesn't. We get to the drop, where that scene happened in the beginning of the episode, and then all of a sudden the Saviors show up. The kingdom they're sitting there, they're poised, they're aggravated because Benjamin literally just died. Morgan walks out, sees the two bowls and the blood on the ground. Little Negan comes in and says, "How's the boy?" No one responds. So automatically he knows that the boy is dead. He tells the rat-faced prick to go walk back. All right, that's no sort of punishment at all. No sort of, you should have shot him there. But whatever, it is what it is. It is what it is. Richard brings the fruit to the Savior so they can get their one fucking fruit. And then out of nowhere, Morgan comes like a bat out of heaven. Yes, indeed, a bat out of heaven, not a bat out of hell. And he basically bodies Richard. He strangles Richard to death. And what was the weirdest part about this whole altercation was that no one intervened. Ezekiel didn't intervene, Gary didn't intervene, the female didn't intervene. No one intervened. And not like Little Nigga was supposed to do anything, because he really doesn't care about the people in the kingdom. But that was weird to me. That was shocking. I know that Ezekiel has an extreme liking for Morgan, but that was just, it was just weird, odd, that Ezekiel would just say, "Morgan," and not do anything. But after everything is all said and done, Morgan lets everyone know what Richard had planned, what Richard was going to do and did, or whatever. And Little Negan is like, "I'm glad that you understand. Make sure that this doesn't happen again." And he walks off. Morgan then tells Ezekiel, and Morgan starts to have a breakdown because he ends up saying, instead of Benjamin, Duane. And Ezekiel brings him back to light. It's like, who's Duane? I don't understand. Who's Duane? And so Morgan has to correct himself, and he tells the kingdom to leave him alone. He tells the kingdom, bye. This was an intense moment because Morgan going back and forth from good to evil to good to evil, it was mind-blowing to watch. And at the same time, I was just like, it's about fucking time. Like, there's no reasoning with these people. There just isn't. And so he then takes it upon himself to kill a slew of zombies with ease, because that's Morgan. And then he goes to Carol. He knocks on Carol's door, and then all of a sudden,
Negan killed Glenn and Abraham. What? Beat him to death with a baseball bat. Now the Saviors have Alexandria and Rick and everybody else. Everything they do is for the Saviors now. And they killed more. Killed Spencer, Olivia. Jesus brought Rick and the rest here because Rick wants to fight him. You wanted to know. Now you do. Where are you going? I'm gonna kill him. Out there, one by one.
ooh,
But where?
Somewhere else.
Wait, just wait. Wait. You can go. And never go.
I'm confused. I'm lost.
We have to get ready. We have to fight.
We do. But not today.
Wow. So Carol is gonna help the kingdom get ready. Wow. Now, you guys saw how I reacted to this whole situation, right? Intense. I kind of wanted Carol to find out from Daryl, but you know, Morgan telling Carol it is what it is. She understands the gravity of the situation now because she ends up going to the kingdom and says, look, we have to train these people, we have to fight because things aren't going to roll over well. And so finally, Carol is back. I'm excited about this, but once again, I wanted Daryl to bring Carol back. Ezekiel knows what he has to do, but he wants to enjoy the fruits of his labor for as long as he can. Morgan decides to go to Alexandria and join up with Rick, and Carol decides to stay behind to train the kingdom. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I really am. I want to see the interaction between Carol and Daryl, and I want to see the interaction between Carol and Rick. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I need you guys to let me know. Leave your comments below the video. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces.